This is reposted.
Today, we're joined by Chris Pew. He's the co-founder and CEO of True Gear. It's an outdoor apparel company that combines style and technology to develop some of the most advanced technical wear. You can check them out at TREW gear.com or on Instagram and Twitter at True Gear. Chris, I want to start off with a quote that we found that's on your website. And you guys say, "We believe that people who have positive experiences in the mountains are better stewards for the environment, happier people in their communities, and more motivated to make the world a better place." I really like this because a lot of times I think of apparel companies as like, I want to look good, I want to be functional, but like this seems to have a different twist. Like, what does this mean to you guys?
Yeah, I'm glad you picked on that quote because it's kind of new. You know, we've been around for 10 years, and I think like a lot of, or over 10 years, 11 years now. And like a lot of entrepreneurs, we started with a specific product idea. Like our mission in 2009 was to make truth bibs. So we had this idea for a pant that would be great for the backcountry and the resort. And we were pretty, you know, kind of myopically focused on that. And then, you know, the cool thing about brands and small companies is they kind of grow up with the individuals that are in it. And with the changing cast of characters and partners and different collaborators that we've had over the years, we did a lot of work this summer, actually, in 2020, which I think for a lot of individuals and companies was kind of a reckoning of asking those hard questions, like, why are you doing this? You know, what's this all mean? What's this all for? And it was kind of through that work that we honed in on that statement, which for us is not, it's not really a departure from what we've always done. You know, we created a pant that can be used to transition from the resort to the backcountry. And so that simple mission was like, we want to get more people into the backcountry. So we want to make it easier. We want to eliminate a barrier, which is like, you don't have to buy all this crazy expensive mountaineering clothing. But then in doing so, and you ask yourself why, well, why do we want to get people in the backcountry? You know, we kind of unpack those statements that it just makes us happier. And when you're happier and you're healthier, you're a better person. And when you're happier and healthier in the outdoors, you're going to be a better steward for the environment. And so maybe the more people we get wearing truth bibs, the more happy, healthy environmentalists we'll have out there.
Yeah.
You know, Chris, people become lawyers because they think it's going to bring them prestige. And then they get the job and they realize, man, prestige sucks and this job sucks. And most of them quit.
Yeah.
You started a company for back snow skiers and people going into the woods, and it's your passion. So you're really not even selling your gear. You're just talking about your passion.
Yeah, that's right. Passion and community, you know, and that's what I think separates the backcountry market from traditional like downhill snowboarding and skiing market. Is backcountry really is all about community. You know, it's you know, to go back to that statement again, in the beginning, we say, you know, we think that positive experiences in the mountains can make you a better person. Well, positive experiences in the mountain, I think, is a particularly, you know, it's unique to our brand because we're a thumbs up brand and we're all about having fun and having positive experiences. When you think about the backcountry, it's not like winning or losing. You know, you're not like trying to be the fastest or go the biggest or spin the most. It's about having a positive experience outside, which could mean just tackling an objective or just going out and being safe and being with your friends and having a good time. And so I think that distinction is really important to us and trying to get as many people as we can into that way of thinking and to understand that backcountry is more about, you know, building the community up instead of being this like solitary guy going the fastest or the biggest or something like that is pretty important too.
I really like that idea of community with the backcountry. I grew up in Texas and I moved to Colorado, and I know you're based in Oregon, but in Colorado, you don't want to be a gaper, like someone who's a bad skier. And I feel like the alpine community, or I don't know if backcountry is still alpine, but like these people you're talking about made me feel like an outsider, and it wasn't very nice. And I do like the backcountry is more of like people do laps by hitchhiking, and it is a community effort. And I guess, do you see that in Oregon as well, with the difference between backcountry and the resorts?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the backcountry community has its share of people who are, don't want to share their knowledge and who will call you out for being a gaper or something like that. But our brand in particular, we're always trying to promote like building people up, building, kind of rising tides, rise ships, whatever the phrase is. Because the more educated and intelligent backcountry skiers and snowboarders we have everywhere, the safer place that backcountry is going to be, and the more fun we can all have. Yeah, I've been to places like, off the top of my head, like Teton Pass in near Jackson Hole, Wyoming, is this kind of storied, famous backcountry place. You can park right on the highway and hike straight up this peak, and it's super crowded and there's tons of people, and it's really intimidating. Like, these dudes get out of their trucks with, all the expensive gear, and they're, everyone kind of has this, like, we call it the cool guy vibe. You're kind of like, you don't want to talk to anybody, like surfers at a lineup. You're not like trying to share that much information, but we really want to be the approachable guys in the parking lot. You're like, if you have a question, you see someone wearing a True jacket, go ask that guy. He's probably a nice guy, and we'll share some data. And that's like our vision. We want to be the positive stewards of the backcountry and help everyone have more fun.
You have a true audience of who you want to reach, backcountry people. You sell high quality gear, which means sometimes a little more expensive. Do you have issue trying to convince people that you're not the H&M of snowwear? Like, hey,
right,
it costs more because it's made better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually in the backcountry market, we try to nail the bottom of that high-end price point. I mean, to use the materials that we do and to make the type of garments we do, they're going to be more expensive than your price point stuff that, more value shoppers are used to finding for snow outerwear. But on the backcountry and high-end technical apparel market, we really try to target the bottom of that price point. So like, we want to be the most approachable jacket and bib, just like with our marketing and messaging, trying to be approachable and friendly. We want that price point to be a little bit easier to bite off for someone who's looking for technical gear. And we also sell it like, traditionally when companies were designing alpine shells and alpine pants, we found them to be kind of one-dimensional, really lightweight, no pockets. They were designed for someone who's climbing Mount Rainier as fast as possible. And where do I put my ramen? Where do I put my PB&J? Like, this is not for me. And so we wanted to make a jacket and pant that you could climb Rainier in, but you could also, ski Mount Hood Meadows and put all your snacks in the right spot. And so there's some value in that, and making a more multi-dimensional apparel piece. You can get more people into your gear, and then they can have the confidence to take that gear into the backcountry or mountaineering or on a hot trip, or without having to like buy more stuff.
So you kind of mentioned that you guys have evolved through the years with your company, and you're at this place where you're building community right now. Where are you seeing the future of you guys going once we're on the other side of this pandemic? Do you want to keep going that direction, or what have you guys reflected on in 2020?
Yeah, that's a great question, because this is like, I feel like, this summer we did a lot of that, being in Portland, especially, being really connected to, there's just a lot of protests and stuff. And there's a lot of social and political upheaval that people in, maybe smaller mountain towns don't experience as intensely as people in cities, and definitely Portland this summer. And I think it made us become more conscious of the connection that even outdoor brand can have to a community. Like when we used to talk about community, I used to just think about backcountry skiers and snowboarders, or resort skiers and snowboarders. But now we think about our community is where we live, where we work, and our customers. And so part of what we did this summer too with, COVID and stuff, is we made face masks like a lot of brands, but we donated our proceeds to the Oregon Community Foundation. And I think it's those types of projects that have us really excited about the future of our company, because it just gives us this like, I don't know, more longevity and more purpose within the community that we live, so you feel a little bit more kind of ingrained with our surroundings, where, if you just think about the future of backcountry skiing and snowboarding, you're kind of, I don't know, you're just hoping that people are still going to do it and it's popular. But if you're providing a real service and a real benefit to the community, then I think that will give you better staying power overall. We're still figuring out how to do that, to be honest. We're just kind of, that's where our head's at now.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I perused your LinkedIn profile before we came on, and it's a two-parter. I want to know what your comparative literature degree is given to your life, but mainly, you've really only ever done True Gear. That's it. Like, you weren't some big wig at Levi's and came over and started gear. Do you think that helps you, that your frame of reference is just True Gear?
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer that one first, I guess. When we started this, we were just out of college. I was even a junior and senior in college when I started working on this with our friend Tripp, who's quite a bit older. He had his MBA and was working in manufacturing in the outdoor industry. And so when you're that young, you just have nothing to lose. You're just like, oh, yeah, sure, let's go for it. Like, I'd love to learn how to do that. And I'm interested and passionate about backcountry skiing and snowboarding. So that's a great time to try something new, right? When you're just that young. And so I'd recommend any young person to do that. You have the energy and you have the time and you have nothing to lose. So,
yeah.
And then I do think it has informed the way, it certainly informs the way I hire people. I actually always prefer to hire unexperienced people who are just passionate and curious about our industry. And it's because it's from my own experience, I learned that anybody can learn how to do all these different things. Like, you can learn, if we're hiring a new marketing person, they can learn how to run a social media account. But what you can't teach is, are they curious about learning more, and are they passionate about our industry? Do they care about what we're doing? And so I found that to be an incredible benefit, just to know that early on as we started. It's like I came in knowing absolutely nothing, but it forced me and allowed me to ask really original questions about how to create technical apparel and how to start a company and how to run a brand. And so I really value that in our employees, and nearly everybody, like our operations person, Catherine, is an engineer with a background in content marketing. And she just is so passionate about backcountry skiing, and she does an amazing job with customer service and operations because she brings all that other experience she has, and is kind of able to do so much more than if you just go hire someone who has a customer service background. And Hibbs, our marketing guy, he wasn't even looking for a job. I knew that he had this film background, and he was, kind of a aspiring professional skier in his youth and is passionate about skiing. And I really wanted someone on our team that had the capability to edit motion and film. And so I offered him this marketing job. And so he had to learn how to do email marketing. Obviously anyone young knows how to use social media, so that's pretty easy, but he had to learn all that other stuff, and he's great at it because he brings all this other extra talent that, doesn't make him so closed-minded about marketing. And so I think that's a really good plus, not having any experience. And then on the comparative literature side, I just was like what I happened to fall into in college because I love reading, and I went to Colorado College, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's on a block plan, and so you take one class for 3.5 weeks, then you go skiing for 5 days, and you come back, you take another class for 3.5 weeks, and you go skiing for 5 days. And so I decided that literature would be like the best fit, because I could just read a book and then go skiing, or read a book in the back of a car. And but I do think, and I told the chair of the comp lit department when I went back, I don't know, 5 years ago, whenever our 5-year reunion, I guess, was, that I do think comparative literature prepares you for design thinking, because comparative literature, you're not really studying like syntax and writing. You're studying what is the effect of this piece of literature have on the reader, and what was the social and political situation that created this work of art, or that inspired this author to create this work of art. So you're really thinking about people. You're thinking about, why does this mean something to this person and something different to this person? And so it kind of puts you in that creative mindset where when we design apparel, we think about, why would a backcountry skier like this? Why would this little feature or design be important to our customer more than this customer? So I know that's kind of a stretch, but
No. I buy into that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Pew, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Check out True Gear, TREW gear.com. Visit them in Oregon. You don't have to pay sales tax. I'm Andrew Keller for Chris Pew and the Gaper, saying thanks for stopping by.